So, but do you remember the route that we followed to identify that? Do you want me to send you that again? All you have to do is punch your township, right, into Google and put in U.S. District Court, or you can even put in federal court, and put your township and your state letters, WI, as it would show up in an address. And Google will give you the address along with a link to the official court website. You go to the official court website. It's always a .gov ending. And at that official court website, on the home page, you see the official links for getting information. That's exactly what I did to go and get I went to the forms link, the pro se non-prisoner forms to verify and make sure they had the informal parperis. It's different per district. Sometimes they only make them available inside physically, but your court is extremely electronically capable, so you have a full package. And then the other thing you want to get off the contact number, which is the clerk's office to that particular U.S. District Court, which is right on the home page, the contact information for the clerk. And they always have a PDF of a directory, the telephone directory and the address directory. And looking at that directory, you actually see the different departments that are not automatically viewable. Because it's a PDF, it's not, those departments are not being picked up by the Google search engine spiders, like I found out about our court with the U.S. District Courts. Many times they have a pro se facilitator department. You see what I mean? That they're just there to answer your questions about what you can and can't do. So suppose you file your complaint and everything. The next thing, when they come back, your defendants come back, and they say motion to dismiss, your next question is going to be what mine was, well, how much time do I have to answer? You know what I mean? And is there a limit, a page limit per my answer for exhibits as your exhibits start growing and everything? And that's where their directory is going to be important, because each district judge, U.S. district judges, are allowed to dictate their filing limitations. Some get to say, I'm going to have hearings by teleconference. Some get to say, I want my fax limit to be 25 pages or 15 pages. I want my exhibits to be redacted or limited, you know, that kind of thing, you know? So, and that way you're making sure that, like I keep saying, the name of the game, our measurement of success is to get dockets open for the sake of reporting on the docket activity, not for forcing the federal court to do anything, but to gather the evidence and data that we are growing and that we need to prove to eventually the Supreme Court and crime victim compensation processes that we were treated in a discriminatory fashion. That's what my docket reporting is doing. It's actually measuring and revealing colleague protection synergy on all levels. The court, starting in the family court where the custody crimes happen, to the PA Superior Court where the appeals are going on. And even if you didn't have an appeal, you can actually use the PA Superior Court dockets where the filings are not viewable like they are in federal court. You can go in and see how many other people complained about by entering notice of appeal for your particular family court judge where the crimes all started.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to find out.
Which is powerful. It's powerful as an exhibit in your federal case for credibility, you know? So remember this, family court, at the court of common pleas level, nothing is viewable, nothing. You have to actually pay them to ask for your transcripts, and when you get them, they're all mutilated because they control the record. Half the stuff they do is quote off the record. The Superior Court dockets are just that, docket sheets. You don't see the documents that are filed, but the court recorder's role, their formal role, is to record everything that comes in, even miscellaneous correspondence. So that by getting those dockets as PDFs and just saving them to your hard drive each day or whatever, and then comparing them later, if you compare them later, even if you don't print them, right, but upload them to free Google Docs in your Google account, get a login with an email and a user ID, and use the Google Docs capability, even if you're not using a Gmail or whatever, to upload all those PDFs, because there's going to come a time when you're being able to show and track the docket, those Superior Court dockets, where you will be able to prove the censorship and the manipulation. You'll see, like we have in Deborah Young's here in PA Superior Court, where oral argument was actually won and listed through prior filings, right, that a panel of judges saw merits in the appeals matters of Deborah Young, to where they actually came back and said, because this particular judge was wealthy and her mother came and got appointed on, you can prove that in the docket they deleted the oral argument, and they said that the briefs that won Deborah Young the oral argument and got her a panel of judges that said there are merits to these appeals were not discernible or understandable. So you could actually prove by what's showing up in the dockets one day, it goes away the next day, by having each docket that day. Those dockets are viewable. Then in your federal case, whatever you file, starting with your petition to proceed in forma par pares, opens up the docket number, and that petition to proceed in forma par pares, which is going to have a short statement of why you're having financial hardships, because of this series of attacks on you and your personal finances and your commitment to saving your children, why you're having financial, that's going to be viewable in the docket. Save that as a PDF. You understand? And then if you are allowed to move forward, the complaint will be scanned and viewable. If you're not allowed to move forward in forma par pares, that's what we say. HireLryrics says, instead of paying thousands of dollars retainer to family court attorneys who may or may not do the right thing by you, most times not, right, that their relationships, financial-driven relationships and loyalties are even more intense than the U.S. District Court judges for the lower court. So before you do that, commit all your expenses, whatever you do have to pay money, to filing fee. Say, okay, I wasn't allowed to proceed without paying the filing fee, so instead of putting it on your forms, which force me to abbreviate, and I can't attach as many exhibits as I like and so on, and I can't really explain the capacities, that it's in their individual capacity and why they forfeit immunity, I'm going to type up my own complaint now with my own case caption with capacities. Here's your $350 filing fee. You got to put it into the record, and the U.S. Marshals have to serve them, and they have to answer. You understand? That's what your money should go through, to the production of documents, finding these people's email addresses, like when they come back, not finding the official email addresses, like if they have access, these defendants, especially when they're officials, court positioned and commission, CPS and DHS commission, they have official contact information at the .gov site. In your city, your township has a government site. You get their contact information with their email addresses, and you're allowed to, when you do your certificates of service, where you have to certify service in compliance with the law, you don't just serve the parties involved by electronic service, which is lawful saving on postage. You also show service to the entities that, through their policies and procedures, are supposed to care, which is going to be your state's Rules and Procedures Committee at the Supreme Court level, whose one of their roles is to constantly receive from the public, from attorneys and from judges, but especially the public. That's what's attractive to us, that it is the public. Lay people are supposed to be able to inform the Supreme Court Rules and Procedures Committee of a need to change state rules. And right now we have overwhelming data that we are not able to petition our courts as citizens on the strength of our state and U.S. district constitutional rights, because they become revenue-driven. Our briefs are being thrown out and our complaints are being thrown out because we don't have an attorney, and that's discrimination. We weren't required to be licensed bar attorneys when our children were kidnapped for profit. We were slandered. Several capital crimes committed against us of conspiracy, human trafficking, aggravated assaults. Why do we have to be licensed bar attorneys now to report the crime?
Yeah.